The Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides is famous for many things. Wild scenery, standing stones, and plenty of sheep. But recently, a particular foodstuff has put this remote part of Scotland on the map and is keeping the island's butchers busy. The Stornoway Black Pudding, or to give it its Gaelic name, the Marag Dú.
Tuesday's the main day for doing them, but we can do them other days as well when we have to top up the pile, as it were. And most of them we can serve so locally, but we send quite a few away as well.
We make them twice a week, and it's 2 days of intense manufacturing and 4 days of intense cooking.
We get emails all the time. We had one not long ago from somebody in Russia, and we've had ones Hong Kong, Australia, and of course Canada and America.
But now the world-famous Marag finds itself at the centre of a culinary storm. Imposters keen to cash in on its success have been cropping up in the mainland as far afield as Edinburgh and Glasgow, calling themselves Stornoway-style black pudding.
People were coming to us saying this is awful, you know, there's a good reputation to protect. So then we thought maybe there's something to be done about this, and investigated a bit further, realised the EU could give protection.
A product geographic indicator from the EU would mean that only puddings made on the island could have the Stornoway name attached to them.
You can't imitate it in any way because it's then protected. It's like the Arbroath Smoky and the various other things, was the Melton Mowbray pie and the like, so it will have the same status.
But this is no easy feat. To get the protection, the butchers have to prove that the Stornoway black pudding is truly unique to the island.
So they have to come together and pull together a description that then protects Stornoway black pudding, but doesn't stop anyone producing Stornoway black pudding, as long as they do it to the same standard and obviously within the island.
What makes the Stornoway black pudding so special is that they're all made to age-old methods handed down from generation to generation. And each butcher prides themselves in their own secret recipe that they're reluctant to share.
Everybody has their own little twist to it, so everybody says that they have a wee secret thing to put in it, but whether they do or not, I don't know.
It's a recipe that's just handed down within the business, and we all like to think ours is the best, but we think ours is the best. We know it.
Whatever the secret, the basic ingredients remain the same.
Suet, oatmeal, seasoning, which is quite important in a black pudding, flour, freshly chopped onion, and most important, blood.
Delina Monaghan is a fan of the Marag and still enjoys making it at home. Making black pudding was once a traditional part of crofting life. When a sheep was slaughtered for food, even the blood could be used.
Well, I'll now move on to the most important step in making a black pudding, and that's adding the blood. This is bovine blood because at this time of year there is no sheep's blood available. Now we just add the blood a little bit at a time, and at this stage my mother would be in here with both hands.
"94-year-old Moore, who has lived in the island all her life, remembers quite clearly her mother making the Marag at home.
Well, my earliest memories of the black pudding, I should think, date back when I was 3 years old, seeing the black puddings being made by my mother. It was just like making scones or oat cakes or dumpling. It was just one of the things that was done. I mean, every time an animal was slaughtered for the food of the family, none of that was thrown away. Everything was used.
While a homemade Marag on the croft may be a thing of the past for Moore, there's nothing provincial about the Stornoway black pudding, now on the menu of many a swanky restaurant.
Basically, it's just really a peasant dish that has evolved into something that's just growing out of control because it's quite a flexible product. We can use in a lot of different ways. The texture of it, the taste of it, it goes with so many different things. At the moment we have it with an apple sauce and a whiskey jus.
I think people have looked at the campaign slightly tongue-in-cheek and thought it's quite a nice campaign, you know, on a slightly amusing level. There's a very hard-headed level as well, and that's if people are copying it and producing Stornoway-style black pudding, and that is jobs and money from the economy here, and so it's important to the wider community, not just the butchers.
I think it could be a very good thing if we manage to get it through. The EU are a bit picky and a bit sticky with things like that, but it will be a very good thing.
If you see a Stornoway black pudding for sale, that you'll know that it's from Stornoway, so that you know you're getting a genuine article and not
an inferior product.
Aye.
It may be a while before the butchers of Stornoway learn of their fate, but until then, the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
When I was young, a Saturday night, and if the sheep had been killed, you'd have freshly cooked, roasted mutton chops, a slice of fried black pudding, and a free-range fried egg.
I would have it quite simple, just grilled, maybe a wee bit of mashed potato turn up.
Probably the one that makes most people go ugh is with pancakes and maple syrup, but it's absolutely gorgeous.
On the second day it would be cold and it would be fried along with an egg.
You can fry it, you can grill it, just depends on what you want yourself. I get it microwaved on a Sunday now, so.
I prefer mine on a roll. Dare I say sacrilege, but with a touch of tomato sauce.
It has been said that taste is 90% smell. So the smell of a food often determines if we're willing to give it a go. Bad smells are often a warning that food is very much past its best.
Situated on the east coast of Scotland, Angus is an area traditionally known for producing soft fruits. Lockie Porter is one of the many fruit growers in this area.
This farm is East Seaton, and this is my farm. We have 400 acres, which about 160 are in fruit production. This is one of the driest parts of Scotland, with some of the best light levels. So you have great light levels for fruit ripening. You have a coolish temperature near the sea, which is a slow ripening process, which allows for good fruit maturing and good taste.
Fruit production starts early. As dawn rises, the fruit pickers make their way to the rows and rows of tunnels to begin their day's work. But it's not just the fruit pickers working hard. There's also an army of tiny insects with a very special job to do.
What I'm doing at the moment is I'm looking in the crop to see if I can find any red spider mite in the crop. And then I'm applying, where I find red spider mite, I'm applying Phytocilius. Phytocilius is it's a tiny insect which is a predator of red spider, so it'll actively go into the crop and hunt out the red spider mite and kill it and take it out the crop.
Dr. Anne Grant is responsible for trialling and coordinating the use of biologicals in order to create the pesticide-free fruit.
A biological is a predator which will go into the crop and basically seek out any pest that's in the crop and take care of it. The whole concept is removing totally the need for pesticides, and through careful monitoring and environmental management, adjusting the growing conditions to allow the plant to be much stronger and to be more resistant to fight pest and disease itself without having to need pesticides to do so.
I'm now checking a strawberry field for pests and diseases, and once I find something, for example a red spider mite, I'll put the flag in to mark the place.
Dorota Orishak is part of a team of agronomists who work alongside Anne and monitor the crops for pests and diseases. Careful crop monitoring is vital to ensure successful biological pest control.
They're very tiny and it takes some time to find them. But once you've done it a few times, it gets easier and easier. So yeah, you need to look for symptoms, not only for the actual pest, but also for the signs they leave you.
And it's a very different sign that all is well in a pesticide-free tunnel.
We're starting to find that in the crop now we're finding a lot more ladybirds establishing, and in general you wouldn't actually see that in a crop where you were using pesticides because that deters them from coming into the crop. We're using this technique on all soft fruits, so that's within Angus soft fruits, that's strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, everything that we grow we can apply this technique to.
While the environmental reasons might be straightforward, relying on Mother Nature can be a big risk for farmers who have thousands of pounds worth of crops.
There's a tremendous amount of risk, and sometimes you have crops that don't make it and they enter back into conventional production because they haven't. We might get an infestation of red spider, or there could be a problem with aphids, there could be a mildew problem. So it's not black or white.
It's a complete change in how they're growing their crop, not to use any pesticides, to accept that there's going to be a level of pest or disease in the crop. It's purely reliant on Mother Nature.
By relying less and less on pesticides to grow their crops, they could find themselves in a strong position if the EU ban more pesticides in the future.
The European Union are looking at harmonising pesticide legislation across the whole of Europe, and what we're unsure of at the moment is what impact that will have on the number of pesticides that we have available to us. So we feel that we're particularly well placed that should we be in a position where we lose a significant number of pesticides in the future, we've done what we need to do to be able to produce fruit without the use of pesticides.
Culture and society often shape the decisions we make. Many people will happily eat chicken and lamb, but things like horse and dog turn their stomach. Perhaps it's because we attach human qualities to these animals. For us, it would feel like eating an old friend.
The Golden Greek kebab is an example of how we have embraced a rich and diverse food culture from beyond our own shores. Maria Kyriakou and her daughter Frusila own and run Scotland's oldest Greek restaurant.
We've got a few customers in tonight and they've requested a very traditional Greek dish called taba. It's made with rice and chicken and some white wine and cumin and different kind of spices that we've got there, and they just wanted something a wee bit different tonight, so we've invited some of our really good customers in and they're going to enjoy hopefully this very traditional meal that we're doing tonight. Hello, come on in. Hi, Mike. Mum and Dad started the restaurant in the 1970s. I was born in 1974, so I guess I was kind of brought up in this kind of business. I can remember coming here from school and doing my homework. I was used to this kind of life as well. I used to go with my dad to the fruit market and things like that, so it was kind of part of my life, as part of my upbringing. I always have like the childhood memories of everybody bundling into a car. We used to go down to a place called Balmaha, but a lot of people back then were used to having things like maybe like pack up a picnic box with sandwiches, whereas my dad would get this big barbecue out and my uncle, and they'd start to cook this big elaborate meal on the beach, and the smell used to waft for miles and people used to come round and they wanted to know what the smell was, so it ended up being one big party. Everybody would join in, and they would taste this lovely barbecued meat that maybe they weren't used to. Obviously, they weren't used to trying before, and they would probably throw the sandwiches away and start to eat the food that we'd cooked. What I remember about the restaurant is it's always full of people, very lively, chatting to the customers when I was little as well, and the smells and the kind of different foods as well, and just taking it all in as a youngster. I it's never left me. And obviously I'm still here now, and this is what I do. But I was kind of brought up in that kind of environment. With me a wee second, okay? No problem at all.
When our daddy died, he used to work as a surveyor, and then he died suddenly, and was a shop shut for a few weeks. And she says, Mum, she says, well, I'll come in to help you out for a little while. And then when she worked here a while, she kind of liked it.
We've got hummus, well, that's for starter. The Greek salads, they go out for starters too. And there's some tzatziki that Bashir made earlier. And we've got some kiftedes, which are the meatballs. And the tava will go out as main course with the roast potatoes. Bash, you're just about ready for the main courses, the tables. They're just about finished their starters.
Tonight, Frasula and the restaurant chef Bashir are cooking tava for the guests.
The basis of it is cinnamon sticks, and there's some cumin, which is one of the base spices, just some salt and pepper, vegetables, courgettes, onions, tomatoes, salt and pepper, olive oil and white wine, and that's it. It's a village dish that's usually made like in a clay dish. It's almost like a peasant dish rather than a very kind of fancy, elaborate, or some of the Greek dishes like moussaka or whatever. And it's mostly made in like villages in Cyprus. It's like a really traditional village dish.
I liked it. I also like to cook. I take joy to cook all the time. It's not a job for me. It's always been, you get up in the morning and you say, oh, today I'm going to make that dish or that dish. And I really loved that.
Now that Maria has hung up her apron, it's up to Bashir to carry on her family's traditions.
I'm from North Africa, and I was born and grew up there. And we did move to France, I was quite young. So I'm used to Mediterranean food, which is Italian, French, not Greek. But we do have some dishes a bit like Greek, if you know what I mean. I love it because everything is like back home. You see, the way we brought up, I see my mother every single day, she cooked from scratch. We never got takeaway. Never been to McDonald's before I come to Britain, seriously. So I just love it. I like to make good food, if you know what I mean.
And hopefully the guests love it too.
I feel as though Scottish food, you're eating to get a meal out the way rather than enjoy the food. You get time to enjoy the food and sit and to relax eating it.
Just the variety, I think, and the different flavours, and I think Scottish food can be a bit more bland.
I cook for the restaurant exactly where I would have given it to my daughter, my family.
Yeah, we'd cook what we would cook back.
I mean,
back
no
home
difference. If that's good enough for me, I would have given it to Christmas. If not, I wouldn't touch. So everything is made in here. It's like my own family.
I think the best way I can describe it is when I said to Maria after about the third time we came here, I said it's like being invited to your home and eating in your kitchen and eating your food, your culture.
I think the passion for me is seeing people enjoying their food, seeing people happy at the end of a night, seeing them, obviously they're giving you money, but in return I'm not just doing it for profit's sake, I'm doing it because it means everything to me.